a prototype? I don't know. It's arguable. This is a machine. We call things prototypes. People love it when they hear that. What this is, and I will. Let me just glove up, otherwise I'll get in trouble. What this is in some ways the inspiration and the trial of ideas for the BBC Micro. This is a machine made by Steve Furber. You will know from Steve Furber and Sophie Wilson fame with the ARM processor. And this here is the machine, what we are talking about. Let's move the screen around a little bit. Oh, now you can see the other one, whatever. Okay, can you see that? I've got some photographs. I've just been taking some photographs of the board, so I'll show you those, as well as the boards themselves. And so what this is Steve Furber, as you will all know, had his hand in the BBC Micro and the ARM processor and all that sort of stuff. There were two machines that he worked on. One was the 2650 machine that was his kind of, in some ways, the initiation into the Cambridge University Processor Group, the club where various people got together and lusted after microprocessors and what the future would be for them. And so he built that machine as proof that he was clever, and just impressed everybody with that. This is a later machine. This is something that very much looks like a system unit, and it was built kind of around, it was obviously, and I don't want to say he stole parts from Acorn, I don't want to get in trouble, but I think he probably did. This was a machine that he was working on. It is, actually, I don't know. There is a 6502 in there. We'll have a look at it in a second. There's also a 6809 in there. So we are talking about a system that has two different processors. So we're talking about Tube and having the idea of a front-end processor and then second processors and things like that. We're talking about a system that uses shared system memory. So that was something that he was messing around with, and apparently that idea that was used in the BBC Micro came from this system. So this is something that he was working on that would then be used as the inspiration for, I don't know how strongly I should put it, or whether the Proton was based on this, but you know, this was, as it has been put, the prototype of the Proton, which was the prototype of the BBC Micro, or whatever, something along those lines. It's all one big thing. So yeah, so this is that machine. As you can see, it is very much like an Acorn system unit, uses the Verorack style of build, as lots of machines did back then. Verorack was just a standard style of casing. This is called sub-rack. So you bought the main unit, and this has got vaguely 19-inch rack. So you could have a rack of this, you know, as high as you, and then you made all these cards that went inside, and each card often had a different purpose. So, like I say, I've got like I had the cameras before which were going in on it, but that's not going to help us for this one much. So what I've done is I've taken some detailed pictures that hopefully I'll be able to show you by sharing that slide. But let's just start from, now this is a little bit random because I don't know where the cards are. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, good. So this is one of the cards, and we've put a little piece of tape over the ROM chip there. Trouble is, at the moment, I can't read these at the museum. I can only read down to 2764s, I think. Basically, if it's 24 pin, I've got a bit of a problem. I've got a cheap Mini Pro ROM reader. So, yeah, it doesn't like these, as far as I know. So this here, where's my glasses? I think it's the main processor card. We have a 6502 processor just here. And we have other chips that I just cannot see. I think that's an AM9511. And I've got a feeling that chip there is an A to D chip or some kind of analog. Oh no, that might be RAM. I'm not sure. Anyway, you can look it up. That might actually be RAM. But, and then sort of various other things there. Let me see if this is going to work. So if I go over to here, and how do I do this? So I need to share. What do I need to share? I need to share that one. Oh, that's the wrong one. Bear with me 1 second. This is the board. And I think I can zoom in a bit. There you go. How's that look? Are we good with that?
Yeah, good.
So yeah, we've got a couple of little chips that are, you've got a Moztec chip in there, which I'm not sure. That could be something like a 4 to 16 line memory address decoder, something like that up there maybe. And yeah, various other sort of bus control chips and things like that, or 244s, 245s. That kind of stuff. So that's the processor card. Let me. The trouble is now you can't see this. Oh god, this is complicated. Oh, I didn't take a picture of the back of the board, so I'm just going to stop sharing that, and we'll go back to this one. So this is one of the memory boards. There are two of these. Okay, that's pretty, isn't it? But that is beautiful. I can't. Oh, I should have took a picture. I didn't think to take a picture of the back of the boards. But this is wire wrap, and it is just magnificently done. Probably one of the best I've seen. The camera doesn't really focus on it very well. We've got two switches here, which do the grand total of nothing. They're completely not wired up. I'm not entirely sure they ever have been. So I don't know what the idea behind those was. And the components we have on there, these are 4116s. So these are RAM chips, and they're ceramic ones as well. They're early and expensive. We have two of those boards in this machine. So let me share again. Done. Let's go to here. All right, so there you go. There's the there's one of those boards. See the components on it there. So no great shakes there. 4116s. That's the other one. It's identical. You can see the same kind of components on that one. And what we got. So this board is at the end of the machine. Oh, what am I doing? We have got. So we've got some standard logic on there as well. I'm going to take the actual board out and read it because I can't read the screen from the distance. That's it. So that bottom Motorola chip looks like a 6845 thing. So this is video card, and we've got a connector on the top right there, which is probably vaguely or exactly a BBC Micro monitor output, and we've probably got composite video down on that BNC connector there. Again, we've got some sort of 745 bus transceivers, that's kind of stuff, 7400s, 74163s. Crystal at the top there for running the 6845. So that's the card for doing video, at least I assume. What else we got? So this is the board next to it. This is kind of interesting. I'll go away. So this has got a 6809 on it. It does have a BNC connector, so you'd think there's some kind of analog in or out or video or something, but it ain't even connected. So that's it. We haven't put a cover on this chip either. We probably didn't realize there was another one in there. So I need to get something over that chip, and also I need to get it red. So yeah, not sure what this one is, but it's a 6809, so it's another processor and all the supporting logic that goes around it. It's got two 2114s on it. These two chips here. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. Anyway, to the right there are two 2114s there. If anybody has any questions, please do just shout though, because otherwise I'm just rambling. So that's that card. Not sure what that is, or what that was intended for. We have another card. What have I got next on the slides? Oh, nope, that's got the speaker. Right. So this is a Henge card. I'm not really sure. So on this card at the bottom there, you've got an ADC 0808, which is a D2A chip. I think, if I remember rightly. And underneath that, you've got a 6522. So you've got a PIA chip there that you find in the BBC Micro. I'm assuming this is some kind of sound card, but it could also be sampling as well. In the bottom right, you've got a ZM425, which is another, that's an A to D. I think I might have those around the wrong way. I'm not sure. One's an A to D, one's a D to A. And then the logic that goes along with those. So that's interesting. On the front of this, I'll show you in a second because I'm not sure you can really see it. Oh, you can. There's a little tiny microphone there, big speaker on the screen there, but a tiny little microphone there. You've got a potentiometer and you've got 2 jack sockets, presumably audio in, audio out. So that's kind of an exciting bit. I don't know what he was planning with that, and he can't remember. What else have we got? I think he's going down from the top and annoying me. With me. So this one, yes, this is at the end of the unit, and it is just a keyboard interface. So down there we've got a 6520. Now 6520 is basically the same as a 6522. It's a PIA chip and it has 2 parallel ports, pretty similar. You've got a great big bit of tape and a test pin. No idea what that's all about or why there's a big bit of tape around it. At least you can find it. Actually, that looks like it just connects to the negative rail. Yeah, that's just a pin to the negative rail. There's also a pin out on the 6520. Not sure which that pin is, we'll have to look it up. Don't know why that's out. And then you've got some bus logic there for join it to the back plate. And then there is probably one more. Is it that one? Yeah. Now this has got more stuff. It's 2 6520s, again, PIAs. And then at the bottom, the ADC 0816. You have to look that one up. It's got ADC on it, so I'm thinking analog to digital converter, but that's a guess. So, and then, yeah, the rest of the logic there. Oh, actually, there's also a ZM425 on this one as well. So, yeah, there's a good possibility they're both analog. Well, definitely a ZM425 is. 74138 address decoding and stuff. All the things on the end here, these have all been desoldered for whatever reason. So the bottom 2 are connected, but Steve's nicked a 25-way D plug off it by the look of it. So yeah, that's the machine. Now all the different cards that are in it, I think. Let me just go back and have a look. So let's come out on that one. Is that it? Yep. Also, there's a couple of pictures which I included at the beginning of this. I just want to give a shout out to Harriet. Harriet is our collections person, and we often argue about things. But the way that she goes and stores things in the collection is just immaculate. So this is the Eureka board that I was asked to dump the ROMs on it. So it's in a piece of anti-static bag and stuff, and it's all tagged up inside. Lovely little bit of tape, twine around it to make sure it all stays together. And there's the ROM for it, which is again all tagged up and bagged beautifully in there. So it takes a lot of time doing all that malarkey, but you know, it's worth it. It means that when you ask me to go and get something out of the archive, I can. So I've just sent that ROM out, and hopefully you can make it available somewhere. But anyway, yeah, so this is Steve Ferber's machine. Is there any questions? Or have you all gone?
Is that his second machine, did you say, Jason? Because
Yeah.
I know his first one used a Signetics 2650, or has that got that board in there as well?
No, the other machine was based around a Signetics 2650. That was his first machine. That was his machine that he demonstrated to the Cambridge University Processor Group to show that he was clever. This is a machine later. Can't really say exactly how much later, but at some later stage, almost certainly was when he was involved with Acorn. This was his own design of machine that, like I say, inspired the Proton and then the BBC Micro.
Yeah. Did Steve donate his Signetics to you?
Yeah. Yep, that's here as well.
Cool.
So if you want to go on the website and type in, well, I don't know, probably 2650, you'll find that as well. So again, that machine has been a bit butchered. It's something that we all do. I know that the things that I had when I was developing systems or just even my own home computers, I killed them all. None of those are here at the museum because, you know, once it outlived its useful life, I had the bits out of it to do the next thing. So he's clearly nicked a 25-way D connector out of this. And out of the 2650, there's been bits nicked. Apparently, at some point, he was asked to supply something as a prop on a TV program back in the day, and he used the 2650 to do that. And I think there's he made the lights on the front flash with something else completely different. So he didn't try getting the machine working, he just connected the lights up to something else to flash them. So it's been a little bit butchered, but, you know, it's there in essence.
Do we know when he built this? Is this pre-Atom, post-Atom, at the same time as the Atom?
I cannot remember, but if there's a video that when I went up to his house and collected these, there is a video that I took at the time. It's on YouTube.
All right, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
We do. I think that question is asked, and it's in there, I think, somewhere. And you get to see my socks.
We do. I remember that. Yes. I remember that.
Yeah. So no, I did ask him. I'm pretty sure about in terms of timeline, but I can't remember, to be honest. Everything blurs for me.
So one of the things I'm very keen to do, if at all possible, is when we are back at the museum for real, is to see to what extent we can reverse engineer at least some of the cards in there. Yes, in terms of the ROMs, we can definitely dump 24-pin ROMs, all the old ones as well. We've got a collection of modern EEPROM programmers that can read old chips and old EEPROM programmers that are contemporaneous with those chips. So that will be dumped, I'm sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Really happy for you to do that and to take a nose around the boards and things. I mean, the only way you're going to get any kind of idea of the circuit design on these is to buzz them out.
Yes.
The way they look, you know, the back of them is as beautiful as the front. Yeah, so that's going to be a bit of a trick. But I'm really happy if anybody wants to do that. That's why we're here. You know, we don't have the time or the inclination. That's not what we're about. But we love it when other people come along and take an interest and do that.
Can we have a quick look at the keyboard as well?
Yeah. What about the keyboard? So let's see. So that's the front. Got that?
Yep.
So it's not your normal Acorn one. He didn't just take an Atom keyboard or a BBC Micro keyboard. I think it's probably, again, I haven't really looked inside, but it's probably just a pretty standard Cherry keyboard. With
what are the? You can see above the capital letters there is a symbol which isn't coming through on the video. It's a bit too blurred. What is that?
There's lots of terminal type characters. So you've got SOH, DCC3, EOT, AT.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So they're all sort of terminal commands. Yeah, you've got a break up there. That's obviously BBC-ish. Mind you, it's on a number of machines. Yeah, don't know. And you've got sort of backwards and forwards one there. Repeat down here, line feed. So it's almost certainly kind of a standard, let's say Cherry type keyboard or something like that. And the back of it. So you've just got this D connector. It's that 15-pin D. You see that?
Yeah.
That connects to that one down there on the machine. So it's just an 8-bit parallel connection on the output, at least I guess. Bearing in mind it goes into this card, which is was that the 6520? Yeah, it's got the 652L on it, so that's probably going to be a parallel interface to the keyboard. So,
We've also got a question on chat. Do we know if this was a 2 megahertz machine?
no, we don't. I don't know if I can see.
I could be completely wrong, but either from something I've read or maybe even in the interview you did with Steve Herbert, I think it might have been 1 megahertz.
I would
I
guess
think.
1. There's something interesting about that board. Any ideas? Silence.
Not from me.
Well, it doesn't seem to connect to anything or anything into it.
Couldn't hear that.
I think the point was that the backplane connector wasn't connected to anything, was what somebody said, I think.
Oh no, sorry. Well, yeah, no, the backplane connector is connected, but there's a metal bar there or metal panel. You can't see it. So yes, the backplane is connected. What is interested on that? So to me, anyway. So you have a 6502 there, and you've got your ROM there, probably RAM in that third. There's no crystal.
Yeah.
So there's no timing thing. So I was going to have a look at the crystal and see what it was and maybe what it divides down by. But there is no crystal on that board. So either the timing is taken from somewhere else. Well, I mean, it has to be. There has to be some sort of time. And this is the 6809 card that is in it. That has no crystal either.
It's probably coming from the video card then.
Video, yeah. And you're right, there is. But quite often video circuits have their own crystal. But anyway, yeah, so there is an 8 megahertz crystal on there. So that'll be divided down. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. So it's going to be a divided down.
Hang on, the 6402, was that a 6402 or 6402A?
I think, I'm sorry, I missed that a little bit. Was it a 6502 or a 6502A, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. It is a MOS 6502.
Probably 1 megahertz then.
Yeah, that's an earlier one. Yeah, part number MPS 6502. That should be. So yeah, probably 1 megahertz.
That isn't.
Am I right in thinking one of those cards would have been a disk controller, seeing as there are floppy drives?
You would be right in thinking that. I haven't seen anything like an 8271 or anything like that in there. So, oh, hang on. Oh, exciting. I didn't take out one of the boards. So yes, this one is almost certainly then the disk controller. Let's have a look.
Also, the keyboard, the keys on it, if you didn't take the keyboard from an Atom, the keys, the characters on the keys look like BBC ones. So the 7, 8, 9 and 0, the shifted characters are same as a BBC, not an ordinary keyboard.
Right. Right, so yeah. This is almost certainly the disk controller because it's not going to come out because there's a massive ribbon cable on it. So look at, let's see. Right, so this is just a front cover type thing. Oh my word. There you go. Right. So, glasses, when glasses. Would you animate it? 8271. So there is, can't really drag it too far, but that's the floppy drive controller. Pretty much standard 8271 kind of malarkey going on with its support logic. Yeah. Yeah. Missed that one.
So they must have had a DFS ROM in there as well, or an equivalent as somewhere along the way.
Possibly. Don't know. I mean, yes, there is a couple of Well, there is only the one ROM. I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, around
So that ROM was a 2532, which is 4K. So that's not a lot.
No.
That's I saw on the picture it was clearly 2532. So yeah, that's not a lot. Not a lot of ROM.
No, it might have been some very rudimentary I/O for the disk drive. I don't know.
Yeah, you could fit a disc bootstrap in that.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, it's doable, but not a great deal else. I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if we buzzed out the boards and did everything carefully and made sure there was no obvious shorts and nothing that's going to kill itself, I'd be very much up for having a nose at it and plugging it in and seeing what happens, as long as we go through all the safety stuff first.
Speaking of which, we have a question on chat, which is, does it still boot?
No idea. Never tried it. If things like this are tricky, they should be checked thoroughly before you even turn the things on. It's just not worth plugging them in and seeing what happens. If it was a BBC Micro, yeah, I'd plug it in. We know the caps are going to go in the power supply, but let's see what happens. On something like this, this is the only one we've got. So if you're going to do that sort of thing, you need to go and check it out first and power it up carefully. And we haven't had the time to do that. You know, that's where you guys come in. And if anybody wants to do that and do it in the right way, then we're very happy to.
Yeah, well, whilst I'm quite happy to try and reverse engineer it, I'm not going to turn it on. I'm not going to be responsible for that.
So, you know, if you do it the right way, so if we check out the boards, make sure there's no obvious shorts, and you know, do everything as best you can do. If we go about that and do it right and turn it on and something happens, well, you know, it's you no further back than you were before, really. We take ROM images, we back up the things that we can. You know, you haven't really lost anything if something like that happened. And the most important thing about this machine is this and the story that goes with it. You know, whether the board itself is working doesn't matter that much. It's knowing that whole process that Steve went through as he was sort of working on those early machines. So if this helps tell that story, then great. I'm completely up for having these things working, but it's not the be all and end all, not from our angle anyway. But I would be happy to power it up if we check the power supply out and, you know, check the caps and make sure there's no obvious shorts and things, and see what happens. I did ask Chris, I think, I asked Steve in the video, and he was kind of fairly, actually no, he might have been talking about the 2650. He was fairly sure it wouldn't work. No, but I think I asked him about the 2650. So anyway, yeah, there you go. Anything else?
Maybe we should keep him there while you power it on, in case.
Well, Steve.
He can repair it then if it's, yeah.
He'd be up for that. He can't remember anything though. He can't remember what's in there, what he did. He had a feeling. He said that he might have then just basically turned it into a BBC Micro, but I don't think that's the case. You know, there's no ROM chips in there big enough to hold half the operating system for the Beeb. So I don't think he did do that at all. But that's how fudged your memory gets over time.
And there's no teletext board in there.
No, there's no SWA5050 or anything like that. So no. What was that? Switch it on, recap it. See, and
It's not a Beeb.
yeah, that's so. I do have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with the person that said it, but you know, as a museum, what does it mean for us to then recap this and stick relatively modern caps in there and things like that? Anybody that looks back on this in hopefully 100 years' time, it kind of puts out the wrong message to them about what the kind of components were in there. So is it more important to keep it completely as is, or is it more important to recap it and get it working? It's an interesting question.
I mean, there is a difficulty that I assume the chips are socketed.
Yeah.
But you know, if we damage any of the passives, and then how are we going to replace those without interfering with the wire wrap on the back? And
Yeah.
you know that, and as you say, is a work of art, I think. And the difficulty is that what you don't want is some kind of short in there, which burns out one of the wire wrap wires and leaves a mess.
Yeah.
Which then means you can't show everyone again how beautiful that card was. So I think it's quite scary.
Well, the solution to burning stuff out is to test it on a current limited power supply. And the solution to the recapping is this is a modern thing. Back when that was built, capacitors were built for a much better standard in terms of lifespan, and I don't expect it's had a huge amount of use, unlike a production machine. So the caps 1,000 hours is going to be quite a few years. Not necessarily, I mean, if they're not used, they don't degrade apart from the electrolytic insulation goes, which is another reason for using a current limited supply when power it on. So the electrolytic barrier inside the capacitor forms gently and not with a current surge.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of right. I think they do degrade, though, even if they're not used on certain components. But yeah, bring it up on a current limited supply, exactly what I mean by bringing this up in the right way, doing it carefully. So it's, I don't know, I'd have to think about this one. If I speak to other people here that are much more on the preservation side of things, because I'm kind of much more on the, get it working kind of side of things. But on the preservation side, I think it's something we probably wouldn't even try, because actually, I don't know if there's that much to gain from having it working. I think what is there to gain is to dump the ROMs and to see what things it was doing and how it might have done it. Having it working probably doesn't add a great deal to the story. But anyway, yeah, it is unique. So we probably in this particular case would say, right, let's leave it. Like you say, if something was to happen with the wire wrap and it's short across, then yeah. Unless you are doing it on something current limited, then it's end of days. But I don't know. It's an interesting subject. It's argued all the time here about preservation, just to have something in its original state, and then preservation in terms of preserving it working. It's kind of a different set of questions depending on what the item is. Something like this that's unique, probably leave it. There was a question and I missed it.
I think the right decision is.
You're muted. Can't hear you.
I think the right decision is to leave it as it is and not try and get it working, because if it's only got 4K ROM in it, you're probably going to need a floppy disk, and I don't think we got one that's going to have any usable code on it.
That might not be the case. We do have some of Steve's discs as well, so there might be something on those discs. Assuming that you get to that point in time where the discs are still readable anyway. But yeah, that there might be a disc for it or something, we don't know. It would be a case of trying these things. But I think it's probably nothing to gain. Somebody come up with emulation, put a message in saying emulate it, and I think that's probably the thing. Is dump the ROMs, have a nose at it through emulation.